I'm often asked how I store my air dry clay without it going hard. Air dry clay over time will dry out, so you do need to keep as much air out of the packet as you possibly can. What I do with the individual colours and the white on its own is I push the clay down into the packet as far as it will go, tuck the packet in on itself like that to try and keep as much air out as possible, and fold that down. Now sometimes I'll tape this if I'm not going to use it for a while. I'll then place this into a plastic zip seal bag like that, and then all of my open packets go into a larger bag. Excuse all the rustling, so I can keep them together. Likewise, I do the same with the colours I've already mixed. So this yellow has been in this packet for well over a month. I will roll the ball of clay, or roll the clay into a sausage or a ball, place that into a zip seal bag, get as much air out of there as I possibly can, place this into another bag with all my mixed clay, get as much air out of there as I can, pop that into a plastic box, and you can also, with the white, just wrap that as tight as you can, pop that into the box too. You can also store your coloured clay in these foil bags instead of a little zip seal bag, and then place that into a larger bag. Once that's done, put the lid on my box to keep as much air out as possible. That's how I store my clay. Now, my clay does dry out from time to time. If I haven't used a colour for a while, it will dry out. And what I do then is I'll open up my clay a little bit, like that, take a spray bottle, just put a couple of sprays of water onto my clay, and I'll pop that back into the bag. Then I'll reseal the bag to keep as much air out, and the water will absorb back into the clay. So I'll do this several times as I see my clay starting to dry. Now bear in mind, I use my clay a lot, so my clay won't dry out as quickly as others because I'm constantly using it and putting it away. But if you're not going to use your clay for a while, I'd recommend, I've got some friends who will vacuum pack their clay if they're not going to use it for a very, very long time. But I find double wrapping and then placing them into a sealed plastic box, that keeps my clay workable for as long as possible. Just another little tip with your clay. What you may find is when you go to open your packet, the very edges of the clay might go dry. If that's the case, just cut those pieces off, or tear the dry pieces off and throw them away. The rest of your clay will be fine. Then tuck the packet back in on itself and store that away. You need to bear in mind that this is air dry clay. It will dry out over time. Once it's completely dry, that's it. It is dry. You won't be able to get it workable again. However, that may not be a complete disaster. You can then grate your dry clay and make artificial soil, artificial grass, pollen, extra sprinkles for artificial cupcakes, that kind of thing. There will be other uses for your dry clay, but for storage purposes, you want to keep the moisture in your clay as much as possible and the air out of your clay. Let me know how you get on with these storage techniques, and if you've got something else that works for you, let me know. Good luck, happy crafting.